Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in and welcome back to Effective Exercise. Steven here with TB Fork, and today I'm going to be explaining passive insufficiency and why it's so important.
Today we're diving into a fascinating topic in the field of biomechanics and kinesiology, passive insufficiency. If you're studying physical therapy, occupational therapy, or just interested in how our muscles work, this video is for you. Let's get started. So, what is passive insufficiency? Simply put, passive insufficiency occurs when a muscle cannot stretch enough to allow full range of motion at all joints it crosses. This typically happens with muscles that span two or more joints. Let's break down the mechanism. Muscles have a certain length they can stretch to, known as their extensibility. When a muscle that crosses multiple joints is lengthened at one joint, it can't fully lengthen at the other joints. For example, the hamstrings cross both the hip and knee joints. When you try to flex your hip while keeping your knee straight, you might notice that it's hard to bring your leg up very high. That's because the hamstrings are being stretched over both the hip and knee joints simultaneously, leading to passive insufficiency.
Sorry, but I have to interrupt this video to ask for your help. These new videos aren't cheap to edit, so if you're liking the new style, then consider becoming a member by clicking on the join button down below this video. It's only $5 per month and will really help with the video editing budget. Plus, you'll get a ton of other perks like ad-free videos, early access to videos, and complete access to hundreds of member-only videos. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Now, why is this important clinically? Passive insufficiency can impact movement efficiency and can be a factor in muscle tightness and flexibility issues. Let's discuss some clinical presentations. First, hamstrings tightness. As we saw earlier, tight hamstrings can limit hip flexion when the knee is extended. Second, quadriceps tightness. The rectus femoris is one of the quadriceps muscles that crosses both the hip and knee joints. Therefore, having a tight rectus femoris can limit knee flexion when the hip is extended. Lastly, the finger flexors and extensors. These muscles cross both the wrist and finger joints. For instance, tight finger flexors can limit wrist extension when the fingers are extended. So, how do we treat issues related to passive insufficiency? Treatment strategies typically involve stretching and strengthening exercises to improve muscle flexibility and joint range of motion. For hamstrings tightness, mobilization exercises such as the straight leg raise or myofascial stretching such as the seated semitendinosus stretch can be effective. For quadriceps tightness, myofascial stretching exercises such as the half-kneeling rectus femoris stretch or the prone vastus medialis, intermedius, or lateralis stretches are beneficial. For the finger flexors and extensors, stretching exercises that involve wrist and finger movements can help. For example, extending the fingers while extending the wrist can stretch the finger flexors and vice versa for the extensors. In conclusion, passive insufficiency is when a multi-joint muscle cannot stretch enough to allow full range of motion at all joints it crosses. It's clinically relevant because it can affect movement efficiency and flexibility. Treatment often involves targeted stretching and strengthening exercises.
Thanks for sticking around until the end of the video. Be sure to like, share, and leave a comment as it'll help the algorithm. And if you enjoyed the content, show your support by subscribing to the channel by clicking on the icon in the bottom right corner. And if you really want to show your support, then consider becoming a member by clicking on the icon in the bottom left corner. These new high-quality videos aren't cheap to edit, and the $5 membership will really help with the video editing budget. You'll also get access to a ton of exclusive perks like early access to videos and this program design lecture playlist in the top right-hand corner. And if you want to learn how to do a one-armed pull-up, then check out the playlist on the top left corner.